Have you ever wondered if the beverage that sustains the world is sustainable? Is coffee sustainable? Over 500 billion cups of coffee are consumed annually, out of which 90% are produced in developing countries. Three of the world's largest coffee producers are Brazil, Vietnam, and Colombia. This industry impacts over 120 million people in developing countries alone, and coffee is the second most valuable exported commodity in developing countries. US imports alone amount to $4 billion, and Americans drink an average of 400 million cups of coffee every day. So what are some of the issues facing the coffee industry? Deforestation. 24% of the coffee grown in Brazil and Vietnam is done in non-tree shaded farms. These farms grow only Robusta coffee beans and do not support any other crop, a practice known as monoculture. Due to this choice, the farmers are slowly destroying the soil in that area and will eventually have to move to another plot of land. This practice continues to wipe out parcels of farmland over and over, causing deforestation. Growing demand will require the coffee industry to increase its production by as much as 3 times by 2050. This would increase current area of land under coffee production by over 4 times. The shift in soil conditions caused by climate change and unsustainable farming practices could push producers to migrate production to areas currently covered by forests. Tropical forests currently cover 60% of the landscape with climate amenable for coffee production. Outside of deforestation, coffee processing plants pollute local water systems. When coffee is processed, it releases organic pollutants which seep into rivers and waterways. By adding these pollutants, waterways get an excess of nutrients. These nutrients contribute to excess algae production, which fundamentally changes the ecosystem that once existed in that waterway, forcing out the local flora, fauna, and animal life, a process known as eutrophication. Coffee production in itself is highly water intensive. It takes about 37 gallons of water to grow the coffee beans needed to produce 1 cup of coffee, and coffee is often grown in developing countries where there is an acute clean water shortage. Moreover, there is generally a lack of wastewater treatment plants in rural areas in developing countries, which aggravates the water pollution problem. The impure water generated from coffee farms enter the fresh water sources, reducing the already low amount of potable water available to people. Another important issue facing this industry is child labor. Child labor is widespread in coffee cultivation. A study in Brazil found that child labor rates were approximately 37% higher, and school enrollment significantly lower than average in regions where coffee is produced. Children often work 8 to 10 hours a day and are exposed to many health and safety hazards. During the coffee harvesting season in Honduras, up to 40% of the workers are children. Children are hired as temporary workers and are therefore paid even less than adult male workers would be paid. In Kenya, for instance, these casual workers often make about $12 a month. When the price of coffee rises, the incentive for struggling families to withdraw their children from school and send them to work increases. At the same time, a fall in coffee prices increases poverty in regions that depend on the crop, which can also prevent children from attending school. These children mostly come from families caught in the vicious cycle of sacrificing education and a better future for providing themselves and their families. A small farmer can produce a pound of coffee for anywhere between $1 and $2. A large-scale operation can employ cheap labor and reduce that cost by half. The actual producers of coffee only receive 5 to 10% of the retail price of coffee, and fierce competition has led to further price drops. The producers have no safety net for price drops and are thus left impoverished and destitute. Poverty, human rights abuses, and low life expectancies are common symptoms in coffee among coffee farmers. Many coffee farmers are effectively enslaved through forced labor to repay debts. Few elite in coffee-producing regions own large plantations where a permanent workforce is employed. Since workers earn less than minimum wage and must pay inflated prices for other commodities, they wind up with little or nothing to show for their long hours of hard work. They can become indebted to the plantation and are thus forced to work as payment on their debts. It is not unusual for families who are part of the permanent labor force on a plantation to work and live there for generations. These issues paint a very grim picture of an industry that literally sustains billions of people worldwide. So what can be done to address these issues, and are there any solutions to these challenges? How can we make coffee great again? FairTrade is one of the organizations working to address some of these challenges. FairTrade standards cover 3 key areas of sustainability: social, environmental, and economic. It delivers long-term benefits for the wider community, a bright future for the next generation of farmers, and a movement for change by connecting consumers and producers. FairTrade certified coffee is produced according to rigorous, internationally agreed FairTrade standards, and every bean can be traced back to a group of small-scale farmers who grew it. The FairTrade minimum price acts as a safety net when prices drop, giving FairTrade coffee farmers the security that they will receive the price that covers their average cost of sustainable production. Meanwhile, farmer cooperatives can spend the FairTrade premium they earn on projects to benefit their communities, improve their businesses, and protect their environment. In fact, 25% of the premium is earmarked for them to invest in improving productivity and quality. So with each cup of coffee, you're helping farmers improve the next one. Major companies like Starbucks are committing to buy only ethically sourced coffee and are investing money to further support the land and collaborating with FairTrade. Starbucks invested $50 million to the Global Farmer Fund program to bring about more sustainable practices and is a founding member of the Sustainable Coffee Challenge, an industry-wide initiative to make coffee the world's first sustainable agricultural product. Starbucks also started Coffee and Farmer Equity (CAFE) practices to evaluate, recognize, and reward producers of high-quality, sustainably grown coffee. Meet one of the FairTrade farmers who grow Starbucks coffee.
Yo soy Mercedes y produzco tu café. Soy agricultor de esta comunidad de Nuevo Porvenir, aquí en lo que es Perú. Todo lo que estamos acá viendo es mi chacra, tiene certificación orgánica y también comercio justo. Con el premio de comercio justo, la cooperativa ha implementado un fondo para comprar fertilizantes orgánicos, para aumentar la producción de café y cuidar los suelos. Por eso, la calidad de nuestro café ha mejorado. Además, la cooperativa me da créditos para comprar cuadernos y lapiceros para mis 3 hijos.
Another organization working to address the effect of coffee industry on the planet is the Rainforest Alliance.
People want to know that they are helping to make a positive difference, and that's where the Rainforest Alliance comes in.
On Rainforest Alliance certified farms, coffee grows in harmony with nature. Soils are healthy, waterways are protected, trash is reduced or recycled, wildlife thrives, and migratory bird habitats flourish. In addition, hundreds of farms that the Alliance works with have adopted climate-smart techniques that sequester carbon. Most importantly, farm communities learn the importance of protecting their farmlands and natural resources and acquire the tools and resources to do so. The FairTrade Foundation and Rainforest Alliance do not claim to be solutions to all the problems involved with coffee manufacturing, but they are indeed small and pertinent steps in the right direction towards fairness and sustainability. You can choose to join this movement by becoming an aware customer and raising awareness about these issues by voting with your wallet and saying no to uncertified and unsustainable coffee brands and saving our planet one coffee at a time.